house guests. Welcome to today's BB23 updates and spoilers. What's going on? It's also cookbook release day. So allow me to do a little shameless plug right now. Our first cookbook ever, plant-based air fryer cookbook, is now available for purchase. You don't even have to pre-order it. You can just straight up order it. I hope you guys enjoy it. Everybody who's got their copies already, everybody who's going to be getting copies, thank you so much for the support over the last few weeks as we were promoting this book. I'm just very excited that it's finally out. But yeah, let us know if you got your own copy. We would love to hear from you. Okay, so our house guests of the day are Kevin McPherson and Kansas James. Thank you both so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate it so much. So thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. It's only $1 for a holla. What a deal. What a bargain. And I see we already have a super chatter for today. Sheena123, thank you so much. And Darren says, love you, Maddie and Janet, and all the hard work you put into every video. Which Brent blindside will be better, BB20 or BB23? I think BB23 for sure, because this guy's got no idea what's going on, and the ego is out of control. But we're going to be talking about that more today. So thank you, Darren/Sheena, for your super chat. And I also want to thank yesterday's super chatters before we get going here. Jefferson Tucker, No More Rin, Solo Sock, Michelle C, and Vajrath. Thank you all so much for the super chats yesterday. All right, let's get going on today's updates. So when we left off yesterday, Brittany and Brent are up on the block. The feeds went down for the Power of Veto ceremony, and as expected, Christian did not use the power of veto. Is anybody surprised? Clap if you're surprised. So unless something drastic happens, Brent will be leaving the Big Brother house on Thursday. The craziest part is, though, he does not realize that. Oh my God. All week, he's been thinking that he has the votes to stay, even though he does think that he's the target. And then we just saw the other day, he came up with this crazy ass plan. He wanted Team Queens to tell Xavier that they would vote out Brent if the nominations stayed the same. Because he thinks that he's safe on the block next to Brittany. So his biggest fear was that Christian was going to use the veto on Brittany, and then Xavier would put up like Derek X or somebody. So people would have to choose between him and his teammate, and, he might go home. But he doesn't realize all of Team Queens and pretty much everybody else are actually voting Brent out. It's not just a ploy. So he was also testing Alyssa with this plan because he wanted to see if she would bring this information back to him and tell him that people are saying they want to vote him out if the nominations stay the same. So Alyssa, of course, was clued in on Brent's plan by everybody else. So she's playing along. And she let Brent know, whoa, people are saying they want to vote you out. So he is like so thrilled about this. All right. So after the Power of Veto ceremony, the backyard is open again. And I'm mentioning that because the backyard was closed on Monday morning and everybody was assuming that was it, myself included, until after the live show. And we all thought that meant, whoa, this must be the wall. Like they must be doing the wall this week. It's an endurance competition. They need extra time to set it up. But now the backyard is open again, so who knows what the HOH competition is going to be. But anyway, after the ceremony, Brent was talking to Derek X and Kyland up on the balcony, and Brent's like, oh my God, my plan actually worked. Xavier took the bait, and now Alyssa doesn't trust Xavier at all. And he says, Alyssa told me everything as soon as she woke up this morning, so Alyssa's loyalty is to me over her own team. Oh my God. Brent was saying all day how excited he is that Alyssa brought this information back to him and how he can trust her. And he was like, yeah, she came to me first thing in the morning. She came to me with bedhead and everything. Like, I don't think she even peed before she came and talked to me. This guy's out of control. So then Brent is talking about how Xavier can't play in the next HOH competition. So he says, if we win, we will put up Xavier and Christian and get rid of a big threat and then we control the house. We rule the school. He says it's the perfect plan. We are the puppeteers. No one expects the mafia. Just a reminder, the mafia is supposed to be the alliance between the queens and the aces, but it's definitely fake to like everyone except for Brent. Okay. So Brent is also saying this might go down as one of the biggest moves ever, and it's so early in the game. I will say, I think it might be one of the biggest blindsides in history. It should be so obvious to Brent, though, that he is actually in trouble. Oh my God. I just can't believe that he's missing this right now. So after Brent left, DX and Kylan were talking alone, going through all sorts of future scenarios, who they want to go to the jury with, who they want to stick around, blah, 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 who they think they can get jury votes from. Like, they were going deep. They were going really deep. And there's been a lot of conversations like that this week. And honestly, it's kind of exhausting. It's a lot. But anyway, one point of interest here that I wanted to tell you guys about, Derek X said, we got to watch out for Tiffany down the line, because when he had the camera from production to take like candid photos of everyone and all that stuff, he said he was asking, you know, who do you think is going to be America's favorite player? And like more than 50% of people said Tiffany, which means everyone loves her. You know, a lot of people are working with her. A lot of people trust her. So this is the first time really that I'm hearing Tiffany's name come up as a potential threat and like somebody that's going to have to go at some point. So it's interesting to hear it also from Derek X and Kylan, who are working so closely with her. But yeah, that was pretty interesting. So meanwhile, Tiffany, Claire, Hannah, and Alyssa are chatting in the sea glass bedroom, and they are super excited to pull off the blind side of Brent. Not only a blind side, but a blind side with a unanimous vote. It's going to be crazy. They don't feel bad about it because Brent's ego is out of control and he sucks. Hannah has said so many times how uncomfortable Brent makes her feel. And that makes me really sad that she's got to put up with that crap. But they are ready to pull this off. So then a little later, Brittany, Tiffany, and Claire were having a game chat in the sea glass bedroom. And Brittany is telling them how Xavier said to her, hey, if you're going to win HOH next week and you're going to target anyone from my team, it should be me. You know, you have a lot of reasons to put me up after what happened this week. So Brittany's like, I love X, but I can go after anyone I want. And she says, you can't tell me who I can and can't go after. Oh boy. I've said it the other day, a Brittany HOH would be absolutely insane, and I kind of want to see it. It would be Team Fun Feeds for sure. But Brittany is talking about how she's felt expendable for 11 days now, and she's tired of it. She brings up Xavier's speech again and how upset she was about it. But it's ridiculous because later in the day, I think it was Kylan who was asking her, like, what upset you so much about Xavier's speech? Like, what parts? And she was like, honestly, I don't even remember. Like, I blacked out when he was saying his speech, so I don't even remember what he was saying, but I'm very upset about it. So she doesn't even know what he said, and she's been crabbing about it all week. But Tiffany says, in Xavier's defense, he did not want Brent to know that he is the real target this week. You know, right now, Brent still thinks he's safe. So Xavier's plan is still working, which is true. It's wild, but it's true. So then they talk about who should go next week. And Brittany says, I mean, if I'm going to target Whitney, I would want to use the back door. She wouldn't want to put Whitney up straight up. She says, however, the Kings are way too tight, and there are still 4 of them left. You know, they're going to have to be broken up. So Tiffany's asking Brittany, would you be ready to take a big shot like that? And Brittany says, honestly, she doesn't feel like she needs to win next week. She's feeling okay with anybody winning at this point. She says, I don't think anyone would put me up for a 3rd week in a row. She says, give me a damn break. Oh my god. They absolutely would. They absolutely would. And not even necessarily as a pawn. She could go up again as the target. But for some reason, she has it in her head like she's paid her dues and she's not going to be going up again. Girl. So Brittany does say if it's down to her and the Kings in the HOH competition, she will fight hard for it. She does not want the Kings to win HOH. So Tiffany, on the other hand, is still talking about targeting Whitney because she's worried that Whitney would put up Tiffany and Claire if she won HOH. No. I don't know why she keeps thinking this, and she's so stuck on it because Whitney is so down to target the Kings. She wants to split up the trio of Alyssa, Christian, and Xavier. So I don't see her going after Tiffany and Claire right now. No way. But Tiffany and Kyland had a game chat a little later on the balcony, and they were both talking about how they're serious about their final two deal with each other. They have been having a lot of one-on-one chats, and I feel like Tiffany is super serious about it on her end, but I don't know if Kyland is as serious on his end, because you also got to factor in his final two with Sarah Beth. He's got something going with Derek F. So who knows who he's actually the most loyal to when it comes to a final two. But Tiffany is telling Kyland about some of the other alliances that she's had so far. She was like, yeah, me, Claire, Brittany, and Azza, we were a thing. We know them as the Kingslayers. That didn't last very long. And Tiffany says, yeah, it didn't last long for me because I realized how emotional Azza is, and I can't work with someone like that. So it kind of fizzled out. And then she said, Claire and I got close to Sarah Beth. That was the Jackpot Alliance. And Azza and Brittany noticed how close they were to Sarah Beth, and that really pissed them off because they were like, what happened to our thing? So she's just spilling a bunch of information to Kyland. And Tiffany tells Kyland, with you, this alliance is different. I will be vulnerable with you, and I will tell you everything I know. I will lay out all of my cards on the table for you. So Tiffany says she really likes their 8, the Royal Flush. That is their alliance with the Queens, the Kings, and Derek X. But they also have the 6, the Cookout. So she says that she would love also to keep Derek X around. She brings up he is also a person of color, and he's all by himself. And she says, we have 6 of us. She's saying, like, he's the only Asian person here. So Kyland says, yeah, but there is some separation. He's not exactly like us. He brings up that an Asian person has already won. He's talking about June. And he says, I would be playing the game differently if one of us had already won this whole thing. And Tiffany agrees. They really want to see a Black House guest win this whole thing. So Kyland is asking Tiffany, do you have a final 2 deal with Claire or Sarah Beth since you're so close with them? She says no. She doesn't have anything official with them. And she's almost wondering if maybe Claire and Sarah Beth have their own final 2 together since neither of them have one with her. So it's interesting to see how much information these two are sharing now. But anyway, Derek F. and Sarah Beth had a game chat at the pool table, and Big D is like, all right, I know you're teammates with Christian and Alyssa, but they are a threat. They are a blossoming showmance. That's going to have to be addressed at some point. What's going to happen when teams are done? I see the Kings staying very tight, but I don't know. Is Sarah Beth going to take a shot at one of her teammates? Who knows? So Big D was also talking up how much of a threat Derek X is, and he says Derek X is good. He can do anything. He can win so many competitions. He can control this whole entire game. So Derek F says, I would like to win HOH, but I don't know who I would even go for if I were to win. He says, I don't want my team to keep being used as pawns, though. So he feels like he should try and win this. He says, we're not even a threat. Why do they keep using us as pawns? That's exactly why. Pawns are usually people that are not really threatening in the game. But Big D says he doesn't mind if there comes a point in this game where it's just down to him and the girls left. He says, if that's what we're doing, I'm good with it. Sure. And then the feed's cut, so we didn't get to see the rest of that conversation. But anyway, the house guests took some time to chill last night when Big Brother gave them a booze delivery. I think they learned their lessons because they really blew it the night before. Big Brother gave them alcohol, and they were like, we're going to save it for tomorrow. And they left it outside, and then it was gone. So you got to freaking have your alcohol when they give it to you. But anyway, they were hanging out in the hot tub, hanging out in the HOH tub, living that cowabunga lifestyle. But then the gameplay picked up again later. So Derek F and Brent were chatting in the backyard, and Big D's asking, how are you doing, Brent? What's going on with you? And Brent says, I'm just chilling. It is what it is. You got to hope for the best and prepare for the worst. Now, he said earlier that he was going to be playing it up, acting nervous and unsure about the vote. But just keep in mind, he thinks he's got the votes locked in at this point. He's not actually worried. So Brent says people really need to think about who can get them further in the game. You got to vote with your head, not with your heart. Hint, hint to Derek F. And Big D says, I believe these girls are definitely working together. And Brent says, I've been saying that since day one. We saw Brittany stay in a landslide last week. And if something like that happens again, it might reveal that the girls are working together. And he says, as long as we keep getting rid of dudes, you guys are going to have no shot to win. Ugh! So Brent asks Big D, are you voting for Brittany to stay? He says, I won't be mad if you are. So Big D says, she's my teammate. She looks at me like I'm her big brother. And Brent is like, yeah, but can she get you far in this game? She's just going to get put up again and again and again, week after week. You can save her week by week, but you're constantly going to be targeted because of your association with her. So he says, you can waste your votes on someone who's eventually going to go home, or you can try and keep someone around who can help you get further into this game. So I don't think this campaigning is really doing anything, but at least he's trying, even though he thinks he's staying, right? So Brent says, again, whichever way you vote, I'm not going to be upset. And Big D does admit he's leaning towards keeping Brittany right now. That is his teammate. And he tells Brent, if you have enough votes to stay, we can talk about it again. And Brent says, well, right now I know that I have my team's votes, so that's 3, and I'm going to need like 3 more. He does not have those votes. Ooh! Okay. So then later, Xavier, Tiffany, and Alyssa were chatting in the HOH room, and Tiffany is saying it has to be a unanimous vote this week. And Alyssa brings up, I don't know, Derek X was asking if maybe like 3 people should vote for Brent to stay. Those 3 people being the aces, so that he would be like, oh, I got my team's votes. And Xavier's like, no. He says, I told Derek X his team is going to be in jeopardy next week if they do that. And apparently when he said that, Derek X was like, never mind, not doing it. Don't worry about it. So Tiffany says, again, this has to be a unanimous vote. And she says, for my own selfish reasons, I don't want Brent to think that anyone voted for him to stay. Damn. So Xavier's laughing and he's like, you're evil. These ladies are so done with Brent. So then that was all last night. This morning, more conversations about the plan for next week. Tiffany and Kylan were going over some options in the have-not room. Tiffany is worried what will happen. They're trying to plan things out weeks at a time. So Tiffany's like, what if the Kings win the next HOH and they take out Whitney, and then I win the following HOH? What am I supposed to do? Who am I supposed to target? Brittany? Because they're like, once Whitney is gone, there's not really going to be like a set house target. There's not going to be a house target every week. That's not how this game works. But Tiffany says, if I win next week, I would like to put up Whitney and Alyssa. The problem is that Alyssa is in their alliance. What are they called again? I'm drawing such a blank on. There's so many different alliance names. I'm thinking of the Royal Flush. Okay. But Kylan's like, yeah, I want to talk to Xavier about that because we need to still be able to cover up the royal flush if someone from our team, the Queens, wins HOH. So he wants to talk to Xavier about putting up a king as a pawn next week just to cover up their alliance. But they seem to be struggling with which alliance they should be prioritizing here. The Cookout or the royal flush? So honestly, in my opinion, I don't see how you don't try and split up the four kings. That is a strong team. And you really want to go into the jury with a 4-person block? Like, no, you got to split them up. So they seem to be missing that, though. They're going back and forth on it. But Tiffany is also saying she would love to see the Jokers win next week and take a shot at the Kings so that they wouldn't have to do it. Or Tiffany says, if I do win HOH next week, maybe I target Brittany. Because then I don't have to upset the Kings. We're good with like Hannah and Derek X and all them. But she says, Azah and Big D are going to be pretty pissed. And Kylan says, you know what? I'm annoyed with the Jokers, Azah and Big D. And Tiffany agrees. They're annoyed how protective Azah and Big D are of Brittany. And Tiffany and Kylan agree they would cut their teammate Clara freaking loose in a heartbeat if that was what was going to benefit the Cookout, if that was what they needed to do. They feel like they're more dedicated to the Cookout at this point than Azah and Big D, and it's very, very frustrating for them. Yikes. Okay, so then Claire joins them a few minutes later, and they were talking about how they would be into the possibility of Whitney winning HOH next week and targeting the Kings. And Claire and Tiffany are on the same page. They would like to see Christian go first, which I think is a misstep. This is an interesting choice from them. I feel like you go for Alyssa before you go for Christian, because if Alyssa is there without Christian, she's got so many connections with everybody. She would be able to thrive. And I think, honestly, it would be good for Alyssa's game if Christian left, because then she could kind of go under the radar for a little bit. But if they got rid of Alyssa, Christian is going to be like a lost puppy dog. What is he going to do? He's always with Alyssa. And I don't think he's nearly as game savvy as her. So I think that's a mistake. But they would like to see Christian go. And then the following week, they say the Kings could retaliate against Whitney and take her out. So they're throwing around so many ideas right now, and it's just very hard to keep track of and very flip-floppy. It's a lot. But we're going to pick it up there tomorrow. We've got 2 days left until the eviction. And again, Brent has no clue how hard he's about to get blindsided. Absolutely insane. So there's going to be lots of waffling and planning ahead for next week over the next few days. Thank you.
Oh, hello.
We will see how it goes. Hi, Bowie.
Hi, floor manager Bowie.
Oh. But anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying your Tuesday. And I want to thank all of our super chatters. Yes, mom is free.
Out of the closet.
Yes. So Sheena123, thank you so much for the super chat. Caleb Corinta, thank you so much. I don't know why I just yelled your name, but thank you so much. Lexi Kearns, thank you so much. Oh, she watches BB with her mom too. That's awesome. It is definitely a fun show to watch with somebody else, especially like your mom, so you can talk about it all the time.
24 hours a day.
Yeah. Adley Bruges, thank you so much. Destiny's Ma, thank you so much. Waiting for, you're getting the cookbook and an air fryer. That's awesome. Hope you enjoy both of them. Jefferson Tucker, thank you so much for the super chat. He says he ordered a much love t-shirt. Oh, thank you. Sometimes I forget that we have merch. But if you guys are interested in that, you can check it out. We have a link in our info box below. John, thank you so much for the super chat. And he asked, if Brittany made it to jury, would she be an emotional voter? That's a good question. And that's a question that a lot of people in the house have been asking themselves. Who is going to be an emotional voter? Who is going to be a bitter juror? I feel like there is a chance that Brittany could definitely be an emotional juror. I think
100
as Azah as well. I think she's in the same boat there. I mean, I think Brittany respects the game, but I don't know if she can get past some stuff. So I think there's the potential for quite a few bitter jurors. And we also have a super chat from Sean, who I think is my boyfriend. Oh. He said, congrats on the book drop. Thank you so much. I'll see you in a little bit. But
thanks everybody who ordered the cookbook.
Yes, really thank you so much.
You
guys are interested.
Freaking awesome.
It's officially out. Woo!
It's out of the closet.
Yeah. So thank you all so much for watching. We gotta go.
Make a veganist fork video.
We're making a veganist fork video. So we got to get that done before the party kicks off. But we will talk to you guys tomorrow. And until next time, much love. Thanks so much for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.
Awkward.